Well, the market now sitting less than 1% off its 2010 highs. 4480 is the top of this new range. Sentiment clearly positive around the market at this stage of the game. Do you see the bull run holding its breath?
Thank you very much, Alishia, and I'm really glad to be here. Well, definitely, as you've just observed, you're seeing a very, very good time in our market as at now, especially now noting that we are ending Q1 on almost 25% rise from where we were in the beginning of the year. The optimism is very, very strong, and most of us analysts, as well as stock brokerage firms, as well as the general market sentiment is very, very positive. And hopefully, looking at the fundamentals, as well as the kind of announcements that are coming, well, definitely we might continue seeing this bull run sustaining for a while.
Let's hone in on some of those announcements that have hit the market. Of course, as I was saying, we had TPS, Jubilee and Centum really leading the market higher yesterday after releasing their announcements. What's your view on TPS specifically right now?
Well, thank you very much, Alishia. Yes, we saw TPS announcing their results, and the market was fairly quick to react to that, and we're seeing a lot of positive sentiments, especially on that. And going forward, definitely looking at the tourism sector in terms of where TPS is well positioned, we are seeing a lot of potential growth as well as opportunities. And tourism, basically, especially for the last half of last year, and also looking at the way we are picking up this year, definitely is going to continue benefiting a lot. And looking at how Kenya is positioning itself, especially in terms of the tourism sector, we are seeing a lot of strategic steps that are being taken by the government, definitely, as well as private institutions, which definitely will buoy TPS performance.
Well, the fact that earnings accelerated in the second half of the year clearly boding well for 2010's prospects. Investors have been cautioned about a potential share swap with Serena Kampala as well, and some saying that this may have spiced up the buy side in yesterday's trade. Run us through what this move could spell for the group moving forward.
Well, looking at TPS, definitely it's trying to expand as well as trying to be a bit more cautious in terms of the regional markets, and definitely because of such the decisions that it will be able to take up are definitely going to be a bit of a concern, especially for investors looking at what most of the firms, especially listed in our markets, and most that have been very well positioned in the country have been doing in terms of regional expansion. But definitely looking at the Uganda economy, which has also been faring very, very well, we are seeing them trying to see whether they can be able to still be able to tap from that.
Then we've got Centum rallying 10.4% by the close of yesterday. Confirmation that the company is looking for a buyer in its 10% stake in Rift Valley Railway seems to be exciting investors somewhat.
Well, yes, we've been looking at Centum, especially looking at most of the financial stocks, which have been generally northward bound. But specifically for Centum, there's been a lot of cold feet, mainly because of their kind of investment ventures, which had been almost a bit of questionable, especially to do with the RVR deal. So because of what happened yesterday and the news that almost seems to show that they're going to definitely benefit from that such an exit plan because of their provision last year in terms of how they had made a provision for the loss for such a venture. We are seeing as though they're going to be very well positioned. Also in terms of cash flow, we are seeing them receiving a lot of money. Over 300 million is quite a boost in terms of their balance sheet as well as in terms of their performance. And you're seeing that definitely they are very well positioned. Also, their year end is almost, and when we look at such a deal, it's definitely going to affect their bottom line very, very positively.
Certainly, as you say, written down as an impaired asset was that stake, and so that right back could well be worth 50 cents a share in earnings per share at the full year mark. So lots to look forward to there. We'll be tracking, of course, developments as they unfold on that story. In the meantime, Jubilee rallying as well, up 5.5% yesterday. It trades at half the PE of Pan Afric, though. How are you viewing the counter within that insurance space?
Well, thank you very much, Alishia. That's a good observation in terms of our insurance stocks. Well, insurance stocks in Kenya, looking at Kenya Re, Pan-African Insurance, Jubilee, have been some of the stocks which a lot of investors have been also a bit cautious about, mainly because of what happened, especially last year. The meltdown really affected their investment incomes. And looking at how insurance industry has been performing in Kenya, specifically, their coverage is pretty low. And because of where they are positioned, especially for a company like Jubilee, definitely is very well positioned to be able to grow, especially noting that its shares trade in 3 markets, both Kenya and Tanzania and Uganda, which basically makes them a bit illiquid, mainly because of the number of shares in the market. So we see it really reacting very, very strangely, especially when we have such kind of announcements. But in terms of profitability, well, it has done excellently well. Double-digit growth is very, very good. Their dividend issue has also been excellent. But basically, the liquidity of the stock is one of the things that really affects our market, especially as at now, because we have a lot of buys, but sometimes because of lack of supply, we see the price really shooting. But the bonus issue definitely will increase the liquidity, and hopefully we'll see the share performing very well in terms of correcting itself and also in terms of pricing.